Hi, it is Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. It is the 31st of January. Yeah. Hi. This video is to let you know that we are extending the date on the Antigone paper. Originally, it was due this coming Wednesday, that's February 4th. We're extending the deadline to Saturday, February 7 at noon. Now, the reason for this is we've had several new people add the course in the past week or so. Welcome, glad you're here. And they're working really hard to catch up. So let's give them a break. Let's give ourselves a break. And let's make that paper due Saturday noon, February 7th. Now, if you want to turn it in sooner than that, please, by all means, do. So that's one of the reasons I'm coming to you via email and a video. A couple other things just to say about this project. In case you're having some concerns, please make sure before you start writing that you do actually go to the projects folder in your content area and find the prompt on Antigone. Read the prompt. There are some suggestions there about picking a topic. You may indeed use one of those prompts. Sometimes people ask me, do I need to answer all of those questions? No, not at all. Pick one and run with it. If you have an idea that you'd rather explore on your own, please do that. Just make sure it's narrow. Don't try to do the whole history of Antigone the play, right? So narrow it down to something that is manageable. Some do's and don'ts on writing a paper for this class. Let's start with the don'ts. First, don't summarize. Don't summarize the play. You don't need to do that. We have all read it. We all know what it's about. And this paper is short. It's about 4 or 5 pages tops. So don't summarize the play. I'm much more interested in you telling me what you think about it or having you explore a question about it. One of the examples of the prompts was if you're a member of the theater, if you're a member of the audience in the theater and you're seeing both Creon and Antigone struggle with trying to do the right thing as you've done at your discussion boards, surely you can see both sides of this issue. If you're a theater goer, what are you supposed to take away from this? You're living in a democracy in Athens. You're watching this play about civil war, the death of a loved one. What role does the city play in condemning civil war? What role does the city play in upholding religious law or religious tradition? Right? So if you're the theater goer, what are you feeling? Do you support Antigone? Do you support Creon? Do you understand why you're conflicted? Enough of that. So don't summarize, but focus narrowly on some kind of controversial issue, some question. This will be your thesis. Don't overquote. Don't summarize, don't overquote. Yes, use quotes if that's helpful. Tell me which page number you got your line from. Tell me which line. Sometimes, depending on your version of the play, you may have line numbers. Use that. But unless you feel that the playwright says it so well that you must quote it because it really helps you with your analysis, go ahead, do that, but please refrain from overquoting. I'm much more interested in what you have to say. Don't plagiarize. We've looked at a lot of videos. We've looked at, there's an introduction to your Antigone. There's your colleagues are writing things at the discussion board. If you were inspired by something, if you find another resource very interesting and you want to quote it, if you want to quote Dr. Tim McGee in his presentation on Antigone, please do. Just give people credit. It's not a big deal. Give a credit. The big deal is if you don't give credit. And give credit where credit's due. Don't plagiarize. Again, on your prompt for Antigone, there's a definition of plagiarism. If you have any questions, if you're worried at all, please let me know. A couple of you have already emailed me with your concerns. Oh, I think I might be plagiarizing. Most of the time you're not, but feel free to email me and ask. So don't summarize. We know the story. Don't overquote and don't plagiarize. Things to do in this paper. Introduce the topic. It is okay to say, this is a play presented in Athens, written by Sophocles. Here's the subject. That's fabulous. Do it. But just don't summarize. Do set the context. Tell us where we are. Have a thesis. This is your main idea or your main question that you are going to explore. So introduce the topic. Do have a thesis. Support your answer to the question you're asking. Support your investigation, your analysis. Most people say, and it's very formulaic, I know, a nice 5-paragraph essay. 1-paragraph introduction, and then 3 paragraphs that give you 3 good examples that support what you're doing, or 3 good elements to the question that you're asking and you're exploring. Your 5th paragraph is your conclusion, right? So have a thesis, have some good examples behind it, have a good conclusion. Now, this is a formula. You do not have to follow this, but if you're having trouble getting started, give it a shot. The thing I can tell you is it's always wise to revise your introduction once you've written your conclusion. There are times when, as you're reading and writing and you're developing your ideas, sometimes your conclusion doesn't exactly match up with what your introduction is anymore because you've changed your mind, because you've done some work, you've made some changes. Revise that introduction. The other thing I would suggest, if you're stuck, or if you just need some inspiration or some support, because we're extending this deadline, take the time to review the things you've already read for the first couple of weeks. Take the time to reconsider some of the discussion boards, some of the materials you've been looking at, even with interest, if that helps you. Think about just going over that material. One of the reasons this online course can work very well is that you can have the time to review things. You don't have to just do them once and move on. You can have the time to review. So consider such things like the discussion boards. I asked you to present 2 reasons why Creon's right. I then asked you to present 2 reasons why Antigone's right. Take a look at what your colleagues have written. If you're on the side of Antigone, if you're on the side of Creon, take a look and see what they've written. See if any of that makes sense to you. Feel free to give them credit. Give them a shout out that you found their ideas very interesting. Your quizzes. On your quizzes, I asked you some questions about the chorus, and you very rightly indicated, most of you I think, indicated that the chorus is there to sometimes provide comic relief, provide entertainment with dancing, singing, but also sometimes, as in the case of Antigone, the chorus is actually supposed to be the citizens of the city of Thebes in this case, right? Keep in mind the audience is Athens, but they're looking at this city. So they're supposed to be the everyday people, the citizens. They help the audience understand if something strange is about to happen. They help the audience to understand the enormity of the issue. So they're there to explain things to the audience, but they're also sort of representing people in the audience and maybe perhaps what they are thinking or what they ought to be thinking. So think about that because, again, remember that this play is performed in a democracy. The people of Athens are a democracy. They support theater, and this play clearly has some interesting political overtones. You also had a question on who's the average theater goer in Athens, and many of you answered rightly so that they're a citizen, they're male, they are probably, the average theater goer is probably middle-aged, probably a veteran of war, and definitely someone who has the ability to, and we think they do, vote. Given all that, war veteran, male, middle-aged, able to vote. I'm curious, and I wrote this on a couple of your quizzes, I'm curious as to why on earth Sophocles, our playwright, would make one of the protagonists, one of the great characters of this play, a young woman. Why is that going to help the audience get the message that Sophocles is trying to get across? Interesting, huh? Again, if it's helpful to review anything else, the other things we've done on public entertainment, public examples, such as we have the Olympics and sports, right? That's both a religious and a sports spectacle. We have other festivals in Greece that combine processions and feasting and religion. The theater itself, this particular play, right, brings up themes of religion, but also now civic identity, politics, leadership. So do feel free, take the extra time we have, review some of our stuff that we've been reading, review some of the videos you've looked at, if it's helpful, and feel free to use any of that for your paper. You're not expected to do research beyond the materials for the course. This is, again, a 4 to 5 page paper. Everyone's writing it, everyone's turning it in, and the idea here is to try to make sense out of the play Antigone as it relates to our exploration of the city and the arts. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to call me. My office number is 942-4291. My extension is 2178. Email, as you know, is goldenc@newmanu.edu. And again, please turn that paper in to my email account. Don't stick it up at your groups or anything. Send it straight to me. I think that's all I have for you. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl. I hope you enjoy it. And do get in touch with me or with other members of the class if it helps you to make some success out of this paper. Take care.